Hello, people. I am back, and my topic for now is Women of the Bible series, and the case study is Sarah. Sarah is the only woman of the Bible whose name was changed by God. She was first called Sarai, that is my princess, but God changed her name to Sarah, meaning princess to all. Genesis chapter 17, verse 15 to 16. God also said to Abraham, "As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai, but her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her." So, initially, Sarah's original name was Sarai, but later on, God changed her name from Sarai to Sarah. That was after God was making his promises to Abraham, telling him that he will be the father of many nations. And so, Sarah was not able to have children for many years. So, she was childless for so many years, and this one, it made her so disappointed, because imagine you're childless for so many years and your husband, you feel like you've let your husband down because you're not able to have children. And so she decided to give her handmaid Hagar to her husband to obtain children from her. So Sarah wanted children so badly, and because she was tired of being childless, she decided to allow Hagar, a handmaid, to sleep with her husband Abraham, and so Hagar bore Abraham a son named Ishmael. So this was not part of God's promise. It was not God's idea. And when you, sometimes it's good to follow God's promises, even though they take long to be fulfilled, but it's good to wait upon his promises, because it's not easy to wait on his promises, because sometimes they take long to be fulfilled. And we have to do that through asking him to reveal to us what destiny he has given to us through the book of that is written about us in heaven, and he will reveal to you what destiny he has for you in the book that he has for our lives in heaven. And so once Hagar had Ishmael, Hagar despised Sarah, and in return Sarah dealt harshly with her. So Hagar was very proud. She would not listen to Sarah's instructions, and Hagar did not want to help Sarah, and so Sarah in return became very abusive to her. She mistreated her, and years later Ishmael grew and had a relationship with his father Abraham, and Sarah was childless. So Ishmael grew up from a baby to a young man, and So Ishmael spent quality time with Abraham, and Sarah, after Sarah gave birth to Ishmael, she became childless, and finally when Sarah was 90 years old, God promised her a son. So Sarah became childless after Ishmael's birth, and God remembered Sarah and told her that you will bear a son. Genesis chapter 18 verse 10, and also verse 12, 13 and 14. And then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. So Sarah laughed to herself, and as she thought, after I was worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure? Then the Lord said to Abraham, why does Sarah laugh and say, will I have a child now that I am old? The reason why Sarah laughed is because Sarah was thinking to herself, how can someone who is 90 years old give birth to a baby? You know, when women give, they say that when they reach past 35, they cannot give birth. So when they reach past 35, giving birth becomes a problem. So Sarah was laughing because she was 90 years old and she was almost 100. So she was wondering, why will I give birth and yet I am 90 years old? That one was very awkward to her. So, you know, when women who are 60 years old and they give birth, that one sounds awkward because it is very not many women who reach past 35 give birth. So when a woman who is 90 years old gives birth, that one is a miracle from God. And Genesis chapter 21 verse 14, is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. So the Lord assured Sarah that she will have a son, and asked if anything is hard for the Lord. So with God, all things are possible. Genesis chapter 21 verse 10. And she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. Verse 12. But God said to him, do not be distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. So Sarah wanted Ishmael and Hagar out because Sarah saw that Ishmael was competing so much with Isaac, and she did not want Ishmael to acquire the inheritance from the father. So Abraham at first was reluctant, but the Lord told him to do what his wife was telling him. And so as Hagar and Ishmael were sent away from Abraham, and God told Abraham that it is through Isaac that he will receive offspring. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21. submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. So Sarah was submissive to Abraham, her husband. Genesis chapter 21, verse 5 to 7. Abraham was 100 years when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." And she added, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." So Sarah was happy that she finally had a son, and Isaac, the name of Isaac means laughter. So Sarah was finally joyful, and she was amazed because she gave birth to Isaac at an old age. That one is a miracle. So what I have learned is that with God all things are possible, and that God's promises take time to be fulfilled. Just hang on to God's promises. Even though they take years to be fulfilled, they'll be fulfilled. I hope you've learned something from the Women of the Bible series, that is Sarah. If you've been blessed by this video, comment down below and have a good day.